Have you ever felt like walking away, throwing in the towel, and just quitting? I know that feeling. I've been there. We've all been there at some point. But let me ask you this. What if quitting isn't the answer? What if that moment when you feel like giving up is the moment that holds your greatest breakthrough? Before you make the decision to quit, I want you to pause. I want you to ask yourself 5 questions that can change the course of your life. These aren't just questions to get you thinking. They're questions that will force you to confront the truth, embrace discomfort, and push through the barriers that are keeping you from the life you truly deserve. If you're ready for more, if you're ready to elevate your mindset and unlock the next level of your potential, stay with me. Because the answers to these 5 questions might just be the key to your breakthrough. Are you ready to discover the power of persistence, the power of your mindset? Let's dive in. We all know what it feels like when life punches us in the gut. The frustration, the exhaustion, the overwhelming urge to throw in the towel and say, I'm done. But before you make that choice, I want to ask you one simple question. Are you reacting or are you responding? When you're in the heat of a moment, especially when it feels like everything is falling apart, it's easy to make impulsive decisions. You feel that frustration bubbling up inside you, and in that split second, it can seem like quitting is the only way to escape the pain. But let me tell you this, nothing worth achieving, nothing worth having will ever come without a price. And in those moments of pressure, it's crucial to realize that your emotions are often clouding your judgment. Think about it. How many times have you acted out of frustration only to regret it later? It's easy to quit when you're angry, when you're tired, when you're scared. But here's the truth. Those emotions don't define who you are. They're temporary. What you decide in that moment, however, can have lasting consequences. Now, I want you to picture something. Let's say you're running a race. The finish line is just a few feet away, and your legs feel like they're about to give out. You're exhausted. You can barely breathe, and every fiber of your being is screaming, stop. But right before you quit, something clicks inside of you. You stop reacting to the pain. You stop letting your fear and fatigue control you. Instead, you decide to respond. You focus on the prize, on what you're capable of achieving, on the victory. That's within reach. That's the power of response. When you stop reacting to the pain and start responding from a place of clarity, you'll be amazed at how quickly things shift. It's not about ignoring the challenge or pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about deciding consciously that you are in control of your emotions, not the other way around. When you respond, you take the reins of your life. You don't let your emotions drive the car. You take control of the wheel. So I ask you again, are you reacting or are you responding? This is a critical moment for every single one of us. When you make decisions in the heat of the moment, your emotions are in the driver's seat. And emotions, my friend, can be as unreliable as a GPS that's been programmed to take you down every dead-end road. But when you choose to respond, you're coming from a place of wisdom, calmness, and clarity. You see the bigger picture. You can breathe. And in that space of stillness, you'll often find your next best move. The next time you feel that burning urge to quit, I challenge you to pause, take a breath, step back from the situation. Recognize that you're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the creator of your experience. This moment doesn't define you. It's merely a stepping stone. And how you choose to respond right now will shape the rest of your journey. The world needs you to rise above the chaos. It needs you to make the conscious choice to rise up and keep moving forward no matter how hard it seems. So before you quit, ask yourself, am I reacting to a moment or am I responding from a place of strength, wisdom, and clarity? When you decide to respond instead of react, that's when the true magic happens. You don't just survive the challenge, you thrive in it. Now, let's move on to the next question. Let me ask you something. How many times have you faced a challenge and thought to yourself, this is it, it's over, I can't go any further? Maybe you hit a roadblock, faced a failure, or felt the weight of everything piling on top of you. In those moments, it's so easy to believe that the setback you're facing is the end of the road. But I want to challenge that thinking. What if instead of seeing it as a setback, you saw it as a sign? What if this obstacle was actually the universe calling you to rise higher, to dig deeper, and to push beyond what you thought was possible? Every single one of us has faced challenges in life that made us question whether we should keep going. But let me tell you something. What feels like a setback might just be the very thing you need to propel you forward. Sometimes the greatest growth happens in the most uncomfortable places. It's the obstacles, the failures, the moments of uncertainty that stretch us, that push us out of our comfort zones and force us to evolve. Think about it for a moment. Every breakthrough in history, every success story you've ever heard, is a story of someone who didn't quit when things got tough. Instead, they saw the obstacles as opportunities. They understood that every time they stumbled, they weren't failing, they were learning. They were gathering the wisdom and strength to keep going, to get back up and go at it even harder. I remember a time when I was facing one of the most difficult challenges of my life. It felt like I was hitting wall after wall, and every step forward was met with 2 steps back. It was easy to think, maybe this isn't meant to be. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. But then I had a moment of clarity, a realization that stopped me in my tracks. The very thing that was blocking my path wasn't a wall, it was a sign. A sign that I needed to change my approach. A sign that I needed to learn, grow, and adapt. I needed to pivot, to find a new angle, a new way to get where I wanted to go. And when I did that, everything changed. We all face these signs in our lives. Sometimes they come in the form of failure, rejection, or pain. But here's the thing. The universe isn't against you. The universe isn't trying to stop you from succeeding. It's trying to teach you something. It's trying to show you a new path, a new way to grow, and a new version of yourself that you haven't yet discovered. Every obstacle, every challenge is part of your journey, and when you stop seeing them as roadblocks and start seeing them as lessons, you'll unlock the true potential of your life. Ask yourself, is this really a setback? Or is it a sign that something bigger is waiting for me on the other side? It's easy to get caught up in the moment, to feel like everything is falling apart. But when you step back and gain some perspective, you begin to see that the setbacks are just stepping stones on the way to your success. They are not here to break you. They are here to shape you into the person you need to be in order to achieve your dreams. So before you quit, take a moment to reflect. Is this truly a setback? Or is it simply a sign pointing you toward the next step in your growth? The journey is rarely a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and bumps along the way. But every detour, every challenge is part of the process. Don't let a temporary setback convince you that it's the end. Keep going, keep moving forward. And know that the sign you need to see, the lesson you need to learn, is often right on the other side of the challenge you're facing right now. There's a powerful force within you, a driving force that keeps you moving forward, no matter the obstacles in your path. But sometimes, in the hustle and grind of life, we forget why we started in the first place. We get lost in the daily struggles, the challenges, the setbacks, and we lose sight of the bigger picture. And that's when we start to question, why am I doing this? Why am I pushing so hard? This is the moment when you must reconnect with your why. Why is your fuel? It's the reason you wake up in the morning, the force that propels you through difficult times. It's the fire that keeps you going when everyone else is quitting. But if you lose touch with that why, you lose touch with your power. You begin to drift, to go through the motions, and before long, you're not living with purpose. You're just surviving. I've seen it happen time and time again. People start out with incredible passion, with clear goals and visions, but somewhere along the way, they lose their sense of purpose. They get bogged down by obstacles or distracted by the opinions of others, and before they know it, they're no longer driven by their original vision. They're driven by fear, by uncertainty, by external pressures. And that's when they start to question whether they should quit. But let me tell you something. When you reconnect with your why, everything changes. When you remind yourself of the reason you began this journey, the challenges no longer seem as overwhelming. The obstacles no longer feel insurmountable. You remember that the struggle is just part of the process, and the reward is on the other side of persistence. Think about the last time you felt truly inspired, when you were working towards something that felt bigger than yourself. Maybe it was a dream, a mission, a vision of who you wanted to become. That's your why talking. And when you reconnect with that, when you feel it in your bones, there's nothing that can stop you. You'll tap into a level of strength and resilience you never knew you had. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind, to focus on the immediate obstacles. But your why is your compass. It's what keeps you on track when everything else around you is chaotic. And when you find yourself at the crossroads, facing the choice to quit, that's when you need to ask yourself, why did I start? Remember the vision, the dream, the reason you set out on this journey in the first place. If your why is strong enough, the how will always find a way. Think about the people who inspire you the most, the ones who have achieved extraordinary things in life. They didn't quit when it got tough. They didn't stop when the path seemed unclear. They kept going because they had a powerful why pulling them forward. They were driven by a vision that was bigger than any setback they faced. You have that same power within you. You have the ability to create a vision so strong, so compelling, that no obstacle can stand in your way. But that vision must be rooted in your why. It's the foundation of everything you do. And when you lose touch with it, you begin to lose your drive, your sense of purpose, and eventually your momentum. So before you decide to quit, take a step back, reconnect with your why. Ask yourself, why did I start this journey? What is it that I'm really fighting for? When you reconnect with your deeper purpose, you'll realize that quitting is no longer an option. You'll rediscover the power and passion that got you started, and you'll push forward with a renewed sense of clarity and focus. Your why is your North Star. Let it guide you, let it inspire you, and let it remind you that the path to success is never linear. There will always be bumps, there will always be struggles, but when your why is clear and strong, you'll find the strength to keep going no matter what. You've been putting in the work, haven't you? You've been pushing, striving, giving your all, and it feels like you've been running this race for what seems like forever. You've had moments of victory, and you've had moments when you've fallen flat on your face. But in those moments of failure, have you ever stopped to ask yourself, have I really given it everything I've got, or are you simply tired, frustrated, and looking for an easy way up? It's easy to tell ourselves that we've done everything we could. We convince ourselves that we've pushed hard enough. But I'm here to tell you, there's always more. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is often not talent, not resources, and not luck. It's the willingness to give everything. It's the refusal to stop when you're exhausted. It's the relentless pursuit of your goal. No matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how many obstacles get in your way, there's a critical point in every journey where you feel like you've reached your limit. Your body's tired, your mind is drained, and you start questioning if it's even worth it. But that's when the magic happens. That's when true growth occurs. Not when you've given up, but when you've given more than you thought was possible. The moment you think you've reached your limit, the moment you feel like quitting, is often the moment right before your breakthrough. But you'll never know that unless you push just a little bit further, unless you dig deep and give that extra bit of effort. It's the story of every champion, every person who's ever achieved greatness. They didn't stop when it got hard. They didn't stop when they were tired. They didn't stop when they encountered failure after failure. No, they pressed on because they knew that in that moment of doubt, in that moment of feeling like giving up, they were closer than they thought to their breakthrough. Think about the last time you faced a setback. What did you do? Did you throw in the towel, or did you stand up, brush yourself off, and keep going? The truth is, we're all capable of more than we think. Our minds often tell us we can't go any further, but that's just fear trying to hold us back. You've got reserves inside you that you haven't even tapped into yet. The question is, are you willing to dig a little deeper? Are you willing to give more than you thought you could? I've seen it happen countless times. People quit right before they were about to make the biggest leap in their journey. They give up just a step too soon. So ask yourself, have you really given it everything you've got? Have you truly exhausted all options, tried every strategy, and pushed through every ounce of resistance? Or are you still holding back in some way? If you feel like you've given all you can, but the results aren't showing up yet, it might be a sign that you need to shift your perspective. Maybe it's not about doing more, it's about doing it differently. Maybe you need to change your approach, or learn something new, or seek out guidance from someone who's been where you are. But no matter what, you have to give everything. There's no half-hearted effort in success. You can't reach your full potential by simply doing enough to get by. The road to success is not a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and bumps that will test you. But when you push through those challenges, when you give your all, even when it feels like you have nothing left to give, that's when you create the conditions for success. The people who win in life are not the ones who take the easiest path. They are the ones who refuse to give up, even when the path is hard. So before you make the decision to quit, take a hard look at your efforts. Have you truly given it everything you've got? If the answer is no, then you owe it to yourself to keep going, to dig deeper, and to push harder, because the next step you take could be the one that changes everything. There's something powerful that happens when you push through discomfort. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's in those moments of discomfort, of stretching beyond what we think we can handle, that true growth happens. So let me ask you this. Are you avoiding growth by choosing comfort? You. Hey, we all love comfort. It's human nature. We want the easy path, the path where everything feels smooth, where there's no friction, no struggle. But here's the truth. Comfort does not breed growth. Comfort keeps you exactly where you are. It keeps you stagnant, stuck in the same patterns, doing the same things, getting the same results. If you want to stay comfortable, that's fine. But know this. You'll never experience the kind of growth that comes with pushing yourself past your limits. Real growth only comes when we step out of our comfort zones. Think about the times in your life when you experienced the most growth. Were those times easy? No. They were challenging. They were uncomfortable. But it was in those challenges that you learned the most about yourself. So it was in those uncomfortable moments that you found out what you're truly capable of. And the truth is, the more you seek out discomfort, the more you seek out growth. You can't grow in the same environment where everything is easy. You can't grow by playing it safe. You have to take risks. You have to challenge yourself, and you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. When we face challenges, our instinct is often to retreat, to find the nearest escape route and get away from the discomfort as quickly as possible. We start making excuses, telling ourselves that we're not ready, that we're not capable, that it's too hard. But that's just our old programming speaking. That's the part of us that wants to keep us small. The part of us that wants to protect us from anything that might cause us pain or discomfort. But if you listen to that voice, if you give in to that fear, you'll stay exactly where you are. You'll never stretch, you'll never grow. Think about the greatest achievers in the world, whether it's in sports, business, or any area of life. They didn't get to where they are by playing it safe. They pushed through their fears. They stepped into the unknown. They faced discomfort head on, knowing that on the other side of that discomfort was something greater than they could even imagine. And that's what I want for you. I want you to stop running from discomfort. I want you to embrace it, to use it as fuel for your growth. The next time you feel yourself wanting to retreat, when you feel that fear creeping in, I want you to ask yourself this: is this fear protecting me, or is it holding me back from the person I'm meant to be? When you get clear on that question, you'll realize that your fear is not your friend. It's not here to protect you. It's here to keep you small. It's here to keep you from stepping into your full potential. If you really want to transform your life, you have to do what's uncomfortable. You have to step into the unknown, even when it scares you. You have to push yourself past the limits of what you think is possible, because growth only happens when you go beyond what's familiar, beyond what feels safe, beyond what you think you're capable of. And here's the kicker: the more you embrace discomfort, the more you realize that it's not actually as scary as you thought. The more you step into it, the more you grow, and the more comfortable you get with being uncomfortable. And that's when the magic happens. That's when you begin to unlock new levels of potential, new levels of success, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. So ask yourself, are you avoiding growth by choosing comfort, or are you ready to step into the discomfort, knowing that on the other side is the person you were always meant to become? The choice is yours, and it's the key to everything. There's a truth that many of us overlook, especially in times of difficulty. When you feel like giving up, when you're standing at the edge, ready to walk away from it all, there's a question you need to ask yourself. What if the decision to quit is just a temporary reaction to something bigger that's about to unfold? What if you're closer to your breakthrough than you think? Think about it. Every time you've felt like quitting, you've probably also felt a sense of frustration, a feeling that things just aren't working out. But what if that feeling isn't a sign to quit? What if it's a sign that you're on the verge of something extraordinary? Often the moments when you feel like quitting the most are the moments when you're actually the closest to something incredible. I want you to take your step back and think about some of the most difficult times in your life. The moments when you were on the brink of throwing in the towel. How many of those times turned out to be pivotal moments? How many times did you push through? And on the other side of that challenge, you found a new opportunity, a new strength, or a new level of success. Every obstacle you've overcome has been a part of your growth. And you've learned more about yourself through those challenges than you ever would have if everything had been smooth sailing. We often forget that growth happens not in the easy moments, but in the moments that test us the most. It's in the struggle that we learn who we truly are and what we're capable of. And the thing is, when you're right at the edge, right when you feel like giving up, that's when the universe, life, or your journey is giving you the greatest opportunity to grow. But here's the trick. You have to stay in the game. You have to push through that wall. And that's when you'll discover that the breakthrough you've been waiting for has been right there all along. And I get it. It's hard to see that when you're in the middle of it. When you're overwhelmed with frustration or exhaustion, it feels impossible to believe that your success is just around the corner. But the greatest achievers didn't become great by backing down in those moments. They found a way to keep moving forward. And the truth is, there's no secret to success. It's not about having some mystical ability or waiting for the stars to align. It's about making the choice to continue, to stay focused, and to keep pushing forward, even when it feels like you're running on empty. In fact, sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the decision to stay. When you commit to pushing through the discomfort, when you keep going despite the doubt and fear, you align yourself with something much bigger than your current circumstances. You tap into a well of strength and resilience that you didn't even know existed. And the moment you choose to push forward is the moment you begin to unlock a new level of your potential. You see, there's something incredibly powerful about knowing that you're closer to your goal than you think. It's easy to get bogged down by the challenges, to feel overwhelmed by the weight of the journey. But in those moments of struggle, remind yourself that the greatest breakthroughs are often the result of the greatest challenges. So when you feel like quitting, instead of walking away, ask yourself, what's on the other side of this? What's waiting for me if I push just a little further? What could happen if I don't quit right now? And then take that next step. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need your quit. It needs your perseverance. It needs your strength, your resilience, and your ability to keep going even when it's hard. The moment you decide to quit is the moment you decide to stop the momentum that could change everything. But if you press on, if you stay in the game, you might just find that the thing you've been waiting for is just on the other side of that final effort. So before you decide to quit, remember this. You might be closer to or breakthrough than you think. Keep moving forward because the reward is waiting on the other side.